Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze. I have with me Robert. Make sure you hit record McCall.
No.
Oh, that
you
would be,
make sure you hit record. I don't have any.
Classic.
See, look at the technology here. You see on this table in front of me, all the things that I press record on. That's zero because you press record.
So here's what happened. We started the show.
Yeah.
And about 10 minutes into it, I looked down to see how far we had recorded, and sure enough, I hadn't hit record. So this is our second take at the intro.
We're doing our best.
It's Bobby.
Yeah.
Did I already say who I was? Did I already say
Yes,
Bobby
you
Cool?
did.
Oh,
Sure did.
I didn't do it very cool though, did I?
Yeah, it wasn't cool
It
enough,
was
but that's
not
okay.
as cool as the first time, but still kind of
okay.
cool.
But also, we have with us
We also have that is not Eric McCabe and a high octave.
Octave.
Octave. Words.
Why don't you leave the music terms to musicians, okay? All right.
And we have Denise Cameron with us. Denise Cameron is of course, works at Dynamic Disc as, what is like your official thing you do?
Apparel buyer.
Apparel buyer. And she's also on Team
Purchaser.
Latitude.
She's
also-
64, Bobby.
I can take
Latitude
over. She's also
64.
on Team Latitude 64 and also the girlfriend of Eric McCabe. They've been dating for what?
Like 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
Wow.
That's a long relationship, man. That's cool.
Yeah, kind of.
Have a couple of fur babies, dogs.
Yeah, we have fur children.
Ralph and Sheba looking at another one.
When
know.
are you going to put a ring on it?
Well, I don't know.
Oh,
I'm a pretty non-traditional gal.
No,
so
that's true.
I'm not really.
So we are honored to have Denise in
Thanks for
here as a
bringing that up,
special
Bobby.
guest. Yeah. And so hopefully we'll see. I texted Eric McCabe to see if maybe he's actually out in Texas doing some course design. Asked if he wanted to do a phone call while we're recording. So hopefully he'll be able to get back to me and we can talk about what he's doing out there. Let's see what else is going on. United States Women's Disc Golf Championships is happening in Johnson City, Tennessee. Got quite a few big top names out there. Paige Pierce, Katrina Allen, Sarah Holcomb.
Do you want to just pass the computer over here?
No
I'm
kidding.
ready.
Valerie Jenkins, Jessica Weiss, Lisa,
Facus.
Zoe Andyke, Tina Snidis, and a few other big names that you've seen out traveling and touring and stuff like that. So should be good stuff. I'm not sure if they're going to be doing any video. I would imagine at least post-production.
Yeah, I would assume.
We were trying to find some information before we started recording. Well, before we started recording this
Re-recording.
second take, yeah. We can't quite find the information, but we did find it that Paige Pierce looks to be doing a dynamic doubles on the 21st.
Yeah.
It's like the first time they're doing the doubles at U.S. Women's in a number of years, so it should be pretty cool.
Bringing it back.
Bring it
That's
back.
Cool. So if you're in the air now, this isn't just women, right?
I don't know. I just kind of assumed it was like women's doubles.
That's kind of what I thought too, but I'm not sure.
It says first women's doubles event, so yeah, it must be just doubles event.
Cool.
It just says Am and Pro.
Since 2007.
Ooh.
Yeah, see, I knew it'd been a while.
10-year anniversary.
Eric and Tina with the Well Pants RV will be out there.
Yep.
Yeah, they're doing payout for AMs.
And
Maybe
CT prizes
pros, I don't
and
know how that
putting
works.
competition for a marksman basket.
Nice. And 600 added to the event.
Nice. So it is at Winged Deer Park Disc Golf Course. Flex start from about 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Sweet.
So if
I'm
you're-
interested in playing that event. Are you interested?
I wish I was there.
Denise
will
and I
be
will be
there.
partners. Sorry. Too late. Denise and I are partners.
You guys aren't going to U.S. Women's at all?
No.
Really?
No.
No, we're leaving on Friday.
We'll be at Pocono.
Yeah. That's a perfect segue. The other thing that's happening this weekend is going to be in Pennsylvania, where Eric McCabe, myself, Robert McCall, and Jeremy Rusko will be flying out to Pennsylvania to take part in the disc golf experience at Pocono Raceway.
Yeah.
Just like we did at AT&T and Tennessee Titans Stadium. We set up.
I love it, man. Keep it rolling.
We set up some baskets and played a little disc golf there. Mike Solt saw that and had some connections at the Pocono Raceway and thought it would be amazing to do out there. And he set it up. We did it last year. It was an awesome event. We're doing it again. Should be good times. There's also a Flex C tier.
Flex Start C tier.
Saturday.
I think it's on Saturday. That's right. Because we're flying out Friday.
Right.
Yeah. So I think Saturday is right.
So on Saturday, and when we were recording the first time, but not actually recording,
Right.
Robert challenged me to see who would do the best at this event.
Right. I've offered him a handicap of 10 strokes.
Of 12 strokes.
Graciously offered 10 strokes.
Oh, no.
Because the last time we did it, I offered 12 and I won by 2.
No,
So, but this is a shorter course, mostly an easier course from the
Yeah,
reports.
it wasn't bad last year. Salt made it very like friendly to all. skill levels, I think.
Nice.
It might be different this year, though.
Yeah, who knows? So
it was really
and
cool,
those
though.
greens are tricky because some of them are on the actual racetrack.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, you have to use the discs that are provided.
Yeah.
Or can you bring? Okay.
And
For the C tier, I'd be surprised if you did.
Maybe not for the C tier.
Also,
yeah.
sometimes my voice just quits. For the C tier, it's okay. Don't mind puberty. It's
right.
I was going to say, don't
Take
bring
two.
anything fancy if they let you use it, because might get a little scratched.
I'm bringing my real bag because commitment.
Well,
I can't
you could
bring
do
my
that
whole
too.
bag. I never have room for my whole bag.
How embarrassing.
So I have to bring a few bags. I'll bring.
I don't have
All
room
the
for my
bags
real
I
one. I'll just
own.
bring a few.
Right. So anyway, so that's going to happen. So you heard it here on the air. We will check in on next episode to see who wins.
Yeah. In your face, Smashbox. This is our exclusive.
Yeah.
You usually have all the exclusives.
Yeah, no, this is our.
exclusive, and it's really exciting stuff. To be fair, I mean,
it is.
Anytime we compete, top tier golf only.
So if you need to follow Dynamic Discs on Snapchat, on Instagram Story, and other places, because we'll be out there having fun, filming and doing some cool stuff. So I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
What else we got going on?
What else do we have going on?
You guys talk about the trade shows on here?
Eric is going to a trade show. I can't remember where is it at?
Is he on the one in New Orleans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, is this one?
Who else is going to that? Oh, J-Ray maybe?
J-Ray's going to one. I don't know if it's the same one.
I think it's the same one.
Cool. And Joel too.
And Joel.
Cool.
Nice. So Denise, you work in apparel
Yes.
for Dynamic Discs. It's one of the facets of your job. Is that the correct way?
Yeah,
to say
facets. That's right.
I'd say that's the main facet.
The main facet. Tell us what is trending in apparel for disc golf.
Wow, what's trending in apparel? Well, it's fall coming up, which is my favorite season to order apparel for because hoodies and things like that are awesome. This flannel I'm wearing now, it's going to be a new kind of lifestyle thing. We'll put some like little embroidered D's on it.
Very nice.
We always have a ton of new cool t-shirt designs coming out. We have a number of pretty cool hoodies, one of which is already live on the website. It's a super soft, like blend material hand-dye hoodie with the big old, bringing back the classic big hand on it.
Dude, I've seen people walking around with those. I will have one of those. That's just what it comes down to.
I got two.
Yeah, I don't blame you. They look super comfortable.
Yeah, they're
it's
really
a little
awesome.
too warm for hoodies like right now.
Yeah.
It is.
But next week though, it's supposed to be highs in the 70s, lows like
Ooh, I can't wait for
50s,
that.
mid 40s. Cannot wait.
Yay. We got to get a fire pit for the new house. It's almost fire pit weather.
Nice. Yeah. Because like for me, my favorite weather is when I can wear like a light jacket in the morning, and then if I need it in the afternoon, that's fine. But if not, that's fine. That's my favorite kind of weather, because that's like perfect disc golf weather. Perfect.
Yeah, I like playing disc golf in shorts and a hoodie.
Yeah.
I don't know why that combo.
So yeah, on our little group, our little secret group, internal group,
Secrets.
secret group we have in Facebook, not Facebook, but at workplace.
Yeah.
Long story. I see some new designs and styles that are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So when can we look forward to some of the newer stuff that's coming out?
Everything's getting ordered now. So over the next couple weeks, things will just get added to the retail website as they come in. So I would just advise people to keep an eye on the website.
I think it's really cool when people wear disc golf stuff. Disc golfers wear disc golf stuff.
Yeah.
I know that, sorry, Eric just texted me. He says, I'm going deep into the woods, so it may not be good reception. So we may not be able to interview him on this particular episode. So anyway, I think it's cool to see disc golfers wear disc golf stuff. I think it's cool to see that our designs are, trending in a sense that it's sort of disc golfy, but it's not disc golfy. But, in other words, I want to see people wearing disc golf stuff when they're going out to the club or when they're hanging out with their friends, not just when they're what?
going out to the club? Like what do we have in our line currently that you could wear going out to the club?
Maybe like a nice polo or something?
Hey, this is an honest question,
An
because as a
athletic
non-club
tank top?
goer, I could be way off on what you're supposed to wear out to the club.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
just
really
have an
sure
idea.
either. I'm not much of a club gal.
I don't think disc golf clothes are included in that as of now. However,
I'm thinking when you could wear it like as an undershirt.
As a lifestyle brand.
A lifestyle brand, but you'd wear it like as an undershirt. I've seen people wear flannels too. And you could wear you have a undershirt on there, see?
That I do.
I refuse to take part in this conversation.
I'm not talking about Night at the Roxbury kind of
I mean, you could
clubs.
wear like the flannel.
When
to
you
your
talk
hole
about
in the wall
clubs,
bar.
because of the previous conversations we've had about clubs, there's only one sort of club that I think about when
The
you talk
strip
about
clubs?
That's right. That's right. Because of the
Because
previous
of my former
conversations.
I don't think
employee.
they have dress codes, do they?
I guess not. So you could wear whatever
Yeah.
you
And
want.
some people just wear T-shirts, and we have some nice
we
T-shirts.
do have some nice t-shirts.
Our t-shirts are really nice.
You know what? I rescind my
I love our
comment.
t-shirts.
Thank you.
I still okay. Yeah, whatever. we can move on.
I think, as I said, the club. I even in my mind, I thought,
Yeah.
"Why would we really have
I
anything?
don't think we're really going to go for that.
Anyway, exciting stuff. Denise, thank you so much for sharing with that. Sharing us with.
Sharing that with us.
We're always working on some
We're
cool new
always working
stuff.
on cool new stuff. So
Graphic designers are always hard at work trying to,
yeah, so make sure you check
Make
out the
cool
apparel
things.
section when you go shopping at dynamicdiscs.com.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to make sure we mention is we have some Disc Golf Answer Man stamped discs.
Nice.
So if you go to dynamicdisc.com, you can actually look under a section that says Disc Golf Answer Man, and you can see the different molds that we have. So we've got to get through some of those molds so we can get some more molds stamped up. Or if you want some Dymax, we have a Dymax that you can just put the Disc Golf Answer Man logo on there. So anyway, just thought I'd remind you guys that those are out there. It's not anything special. It's not like the show gets any money. It's just kind of a cool way to kind of show people that you listen to a disc golf podcast.
Yeah.
And so that's a way to
it's
do
like,
it.
oh, it's behind you. That's
Yeah.
the logo, right?
Yeah, that's the logo that's on the
And we
disc.
sign, quite a few of those as they come through when people request it. So if that's something that you're interested in.
And I'm talking to our apparel buyer about the possibilities of doing another run of Disc Golf Answer Man t-shirts.
I want that.
Yeah.
I
so-
am interested.
Yeah, I actually didn't get one from the first run
Me
either,
neither.
so
Oh, so we didn't
I don't
do
know
another
how
run.
I didn't get one, but
It'll probably be a little bit different where it won't be the two colors. It'll be kind of, you said it was kind of like a white, but it kind of maybe ghosts.
well, we
onto the
do what's called discharge printing, which is the super soft stuff. Like as soon
Yeah.
as you wash it, you can't feel the ink anymore.
Yeah.
Which on those really nice tri-blend tees that we use,
Yeah.
it just kind of matches off. Soft tee, soft ink, but
Yeah.
it's two colors, not always easy to match the colors just how you want it.
Right.
So probably something. It'll kind of have like a distressed, almost concert tee look to it. Maybe.
Yeah, that'll be cool. So I'm going to pick out a few colors. I think you said 3 is usually the best way to go. As far
Yeah, 3
as
or
colors.
4. But then we could also look into maybe doing some dry fits too.
Or some super secret colors that you can only have if you've been on the show before. So Denise gets one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get those ordered and make those available for you guys if you want to have a Disc Golf Answer Man t-shirt. Let us know on the Facebook group if for sure that's something you like. What do you guys say we get on to the questions?
Let's
Remember, guys, you can go to remember.
remember,
guys, you can go to discgolfanswerman.com and submit your disc golf question, and we will get it on the air. Let's do a few of the SpeakPod questions first. Let's see if I've got my volume right.
Wrong one. Number 4. Yeah, there you go.
This one's from Julie.
Hi, Disc Golf Headsman crew. I
Sorry,
have
guys.
one question for you guys today. Why isn't the gavel being used as the putter of choice in the starter set? Certainly for myself as an intermediate player, I do rely on the gavel quite a bit for up shots or even for throwing off the tee on a very short hole. But I'm quite surprised that it's a very underrated disc out of your lineup, and especially with the Trilogy Challenge being complete. The Deputy coming out, a lot of people have compared, I think, the gavel to the Deputy. And certainly, if a lot of people liking the Deputy, then maybe I'm surprised that the gavel hasn't actually gotten a little bit more publicity afterwards. Thanks a lot, and keep it real.
All right, Julie.
Keep it real.
Julie's accent is awesome.
Yeah, it
know.
is. I love.
I wonder if she is from Australia. Yeah. Yes, the answer.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Yeah, that's right.
that could
That's
be
right.
New Zealand too. couldn't it?
Texas. I think New Zealand has more of a have you watched Flight of the Conchords very much?
Mm-mm.
Theirs is pretty different from Australia.
Is it?
Once you listen to them next to each other. So I would bet she's from Australia.
Distinctive
But
difference.
Julie, if you want to call back into the show and tell me if I'm right or wrong, and then I'll report to Denise whether she was right or wrong. We'll see.
So the gavel, yes, the gavel is part of our easy to throw line.
Yeah.
Where you have the breakout, the gavel, and the proof. The gavel being the putter, the proof being the mid, the breakout being the driver. And it is more designed for someone that's just starting out.
Yep.
I mean, I guess I really don't have a solid reason why we haven't really hit hard on that. I don't know why it's not in the starter set.
I have a question. Isn't that the one that they only did in lighter weights?
I'd say that's part of it.
That's a very good point.
It's only available in 150 class from us right now, or lower. I've seen ones down to about 147 or so. But I will say the gavel is really, really fun to throw. If you throw it really smooth, 40, 50%, it'll on a hyzer, it'll tip up to flat and then just move to the right. And it feels like you don't even have to put much on it for it to just go a long ways and really, really straight or slightly turned over to the right. So it's a fun putter to throw. I got to throw one when we went out to like an outdoor camp that we were doing for kids the other day. And we tossed that, Justin Ray and I tossed that back and forth a lot of the day. And it flies really nicely. So I do think it's underrated for sure. I think the reason that we don't give it so much publicity is because it is only available in lighter weights right now.
And would it be safe to say that that's probably a disc that you could outgrow pretty fast?
I think so.
The possibility. In other words,
it depends
you know what
on.
I'm saying?
Yeah, it depends on your form, how hard you throw or whatever.
Yeah, I think it could still be useful for certain shots, but ideally, as you're improving, you're probably going to want something that's a little heavier and a little easier to control, possibly.
Yeah.
Doesn't require as much touch, maybe.
Yeah,
so that could
more power for sure.
Yeah, that could be something super useful in your bag, but maybe not the best as your consistent throwing putter.
That's right.
Over time.
Hey, but Julie, if you like throwing the gavel, though, we are getting ready to come out with lucid gavels for in anticipation for Junior Worlds next year, and we've thrown those around, and they are.
You guys had fun with those the other day.
Good.
pretty good.
That was fun to watch.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, next one comes from Brian.
Yeah.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man crew. This is Brian from West Lafayette, Indiana, and I have a series of questions for you guys. The first is, being in Indiana, just curious to see if you guys have ever played in here. I know Eric probably did in the Lemon Lake for the World Championships, but I want to know what other courses you might have played that you really enjoyed.
I've never played.
I've never played in Indiana.
I don't think Eric definitely played those courses because I believe that's where he won his world championship.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken.
So he played them pretty well.
Yeah.
You'd say he's decent at those.
He's been talking a lot about wanting to go back there someday to Lemon Lake, the complex.
Yeah.
And play an event.
Yeah. He's just played a whole lot of places. So I would not be surprised if he had played several more places in Indiana, but I'm just not sure where they are.
All right, let's see what the next part of it, the question is.
Second question is, in terms of arm speed and just generating more power and spin on my disc, what drills, things should I consider when trying to improve that? And my last question is, I'm curious.
Specific drills, I don't know if I have like, hey, go and do this kind of practice game. I don't really have anything like that, but if you're trying to generate more speed and more kind of snap or spin, depending on how you want to phrase that, I think it's more about getting your larger muscle groups involved in your throw a little bit more. So your legs, getting your hips turned away from the target a little bit. I think that helps a lot. And then one thing to really, really focus on, and I think people miss out on this a lot, is you need to be working on acceleration, not necessarily speed from first step to last step, because if that's all fast, that's not going to help you very much. But you need to be working on, when you get to the back of your reach back, it starts out slow and then it finishes quickly. I mean, if you watch the longest throwers in the world, they are the best accelerators. They're not the fastest run-ups. They're the best accelerators. So I think that's something really helpful to work on.
Mechanics too.
Yeah.
You know, having good mechanics, being smooth, pulling through close to your body. Because if you're doing things like having weird angles or just not keeping it tight, you're going to lose a lot of the power that you would be able to put on the disc to create more spin and, you know, really get it up to speed. So having good, fluid, smooth mechanics is definitely a big help.
I agree with that.
Excellent. All right, next one comes.
Hold on. I think he had a third.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Hold on, Brian.
So what kind of just fun bets you guys have made on casual rounds that you and some friends might have played for? My brother-in-law and I play a ton, and the summer on vacation, we made a bet that the loser had to water ski around the lake we're staying at in a pink Speedo. So just curious to see if you guys had ever done anything fun like that. I look forward to hearing from you, and keep it real.
I don't think I've ever done anything like that.
Yeah, we don't do a whole lot of prop bets necessarily. You know, like if we put strokes up against one another, or we're just playing off against one another. Yeah, it's for tags, or you know, once the round is over, we can hit each other with the hot trash talk. You know, like like one of my recent favorites is, "Hey Bobby, do you remember when I threw the course in less throws than you did?" You know, stuff like that. Just and he's look how sad he was. Did you see? I mean, very sad. So, you know, just that type of like, we just mostly mess around with each other. We don't do a whole lot of prop stuff as of yet.
I was going to say that maybe that should be a new thing.
I'm interested.
Because that would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't think of any time
for the
I've
next
done
Will It
anything.
Heiser video. You have to do something stupid. I'm really creative when it comes to these.
Yeah, the entire Will It Heiser video is doing something stupid.
Yeah, okay. Totally fair. So we both win.
All right. So next question comes from the name Moonshine Metal Flake Trespass.
Ooh, I like that.
Whoa.
He asks, "Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man crew, got a question today about careers in disc golf. I'm a soon-to-be graduate business major, and I was wondering what kinds of opportunities there are in the disc golf industry for making a career. It would be really cool to get to work in an industry where I really believed in the product, and I wanted to see what you guys could share about the behind-the-scenes employees of Dynamic Discs, the accountants, financial planners, etc., that keep DD running. Thanks, guys, and as always, keep hazing Robert to make us all laugh." I literally did not make that up. Did not make that up.
That's well played.
So careers in disc golf. I mean, it's just like any other business. Like you said, there's accountants, there's people there's warehouse managers that have to make sure that the inventory is right.
Yeah, we have a shipping manager.
Yeah, we have people that pull orders for the stores. We have apparel buyers.
Yep.
We have team managers. You know, just kind of something you'd find. I mean, obviously, you're not going to find a team manager at every business, but you know, the thing I try to make sure people understand is that I love my job.
Oh yeah,
it's awesome, but there are times that it's work. It's not throwing plastics every day. Sure, I've got a warehouse full of amazing plastic that I can go look at, but I mean, there'll be days go 2-3 days before I even see what discs are happening over there.
Yep.
Because I'm in my office trying to get things done. The other day I posted something on Facebook where there are days where I get to create amazing content, and then there are days where I spend hours sitting looking at a spreadsheet, doing things on a spreadsheet. So, you know, there are days that aren't as exciting as others, but overall, it's still a really cool thing to do. But what are some other jobs that someone could probably work toward as a disc golf career?
Yeah, that's a really tough one. I mean, I know that disc golf companies in general could benefit from increased marketing efforts.
Yeah.
You know, I think we put a lot of time and effort into those, but there are a lot of companies that I think could really benefit from that.
Yeah.
Not to say that they do it poorly. It's just not as much on everybody's radar all the time, because as disc golf companies, we're always growing, and we're getting into new positions where, hey, now we do need to do that. I would say the biggest or the most important suggestion I could make is just make inroads at the place that you want to work, right? So if you say you desperately want to work at Dynamic Discs, then follow Bobby on Instagram and interact with Eric when you see him post on something like that. Making connections makes it a lot easier for us to, you know, be excited about hiring somebody. Our job positions are pretty few and far between when it comes to openings, right? Because a lot of times when we have an opening, it's either filled by somebody internally, or we've kind of got an idea of somebody who we want from the beginning. Yeah,
it's often the entry level kind of positions that you got to get your foot in the door with.
Yeah. But I mean, then there are people who have done that and now who are moving up and doing different stuff, you know? So I don't know.
I think you really hit it. Like, as disc golf is growing, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for work in different aspects. You know, you see, there used to be only a couple film crews that ever went out and filmed disc golf. And now there's
a lot.
There's quite a few different ones that go out and do stuff like that. And yeah, marketing's a big one, you know. Just as we grow, new companies are going to need new marketing staff and need to get their name out there. And But it is important to remember that as awesome as working in disc golf is,
It's still a job.
your job is still your job. Like I am the apparel buyer. I get to work in this awesome warehouse and, you know, with a bunch of my friends, and we do a bunch of fun disc golf things, but it's also still a job that's an office desk job where I sit in front of a computer pretty much
Yeah.
majority of what I'm doing. So you have to, you know, keep a realistic attitude about it, that you're still going to have to do some work.
Yeah,
It's
it seems
not
like it would just
all
be
fun and games.
Exactly. It seems like it would just be sunshine and rainbows, and like, you know, when you watch our videos, like we do Will at Heiser, when we get to do Answer Man, it's really fun and we love doing that. But yeah, the reality is I sit in front of my computer probably 5 or 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
So
Next one comes from Chopkins.
Chopkins.
What's up, Chili Papa Smooth Gust?
That's you, man.
Cheesy elbow noodles.
Macaroni and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds delicious.
And the man formerly rated 1,000 McCall.
I'm actually going by a symbol now, like Prince. Don't worry about it.
Formerly known as.
Yeah.
I was playing around in very windy conditions. I had a headwind tee shot, so I grabbed the most beefy thing in my bag, and it end of a monster, and he provided the speed numbers, which is 10,505.
I think I could have gotten close to that, but go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I let it go, and it flipped to the right and hit a tree 250 feet down the fairway, causing the flight plate to get exposed to the 30-mile-an-hour wind. It then came back to land behind the tee pad.
Whee!
Wow. That
That's what
sucks.
the noise we make when that happens.
So do you have any embarrassingly bad throws you will never forget? I know I'll
Ooh.
never forget this one.
I have a good one too.
Yeah, you
first.
go
Bob.
ahead.
No,
I can
you go.
think.
Oh, okay. Well, I had one. It was a tournament many years ago, and I was doing like a practice swing, kind of like it was kind of a complicated line to hit. So I was kind of doing my run up steps and pulling through, and I don't know how I managed this, but I actually like in my follow through let go of the disc and threw it like 40 feet to the right of the tee pad. And that was my shot. That was my drive on that hole. I had to take that.
So that was like during a tournament?
That was during a tournament.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I have another fun one where I was
the one where you're warming up.
Yes, I was
That's awesome.
filming, and it's actually the same exact thing that happened. I was filming my form to try to dial it in, and I was doing a couple practice run-ups, not intending to release the disc.
Yeah.
And apparently my hand like really relaxes in my backswing because it was the side view, you know, from the left as I'm running up the tee pad, and I released the disc directly like
90
perpendicular
degrees.
And you just see it like flip up on this awesome line and fly way. It probably went like 300 feet.
It seriously went so far, but at a right angle from where you were
It
aiming.
was crazy.
How funny.
But
That
the
was a good
video
one.
was so funny, I had to share it, and everyone
Yeah.
just kept saying I shanked it, but I was like, no,
I was just warming up.
I wasn't supposed to release it at all.
Yeah. That's
Let me clarify that fact.
yeah. That one is a really good one. Like,
I'll see if
like
I can
that
dig
one.
up that video and you can share it if you want.
It's awesome.
It's a good laugh.
I have one on video too. And this is unfortunate. I don't get on video playing disc golf a whole lot, but one time I did at the winter warm up in 2013. This was when I was 1,000 rated. And it was right before I was going to have knee surgery. So this was either my last tournament or next to last tournament before that. But I had played pretty well at LL Woods in Louisville. So we were playing our second and final round at Lake Louisville. And I was quite a few back to start the round. Kyle Webster of Team Westside, then of Team Prodigy, was killing it. And he was leading me by 6 or 7 or something. And I got it back. I birdied 6 in a row on the back to get to within, I think, 2 when we got up to hole 17. And I threw, I wasn't feeling confident on turnovers, so I threw a hyzer on this hole that you really can't throw a hyzer on. I was just trying to maybe get lucky and get a skip up there. I was about 100 feet out, and I was kind of thinking, man, I kind of want to run this. There's a little bit of right to left crosswind, and I put on hyzer, so I didn't want to let it go too high. So I tried to like pop the flight plate up a little bit so it ride on anhyzer toward the basket. And the combination of that and it catching on my finger put it to where I bet I threw the putt like 70 feet. And it's still like from 100 feet, I was still 30 feet short. And I hit the pole like underneath the basket on my next putt. So I took a 4, effectively ending my bid at winning that tournament. But at least you can go see it online and it's not embarrassing or anything.
So it's like the awkwardest of awkward jump putts.
It was so bad.
What
it
year was
really
it?
bad. Like 13 or something. You guys were the ones that did the video.
I filmed it.
You and Eric are commentating on it.
Did we laugh a lot?
No, y'all were really nice about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You shouldn't have been. It was really terrible. I birdied 18. So like, and this is the really stupid part. Okay. So Kyle's drive was a little bit inside of mine, but he threw his putt into that head kind of crosswind and it went over the basket to maybe like 25 or 30. It was a tester coming back. I think if I put my putt under the basket, I don't know. He was a little bit shaken because he hadn't birdied much on the back. So maybe he misses, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But instead, I just took all that out of his hands and just went ahead and took my only 4 of the round.
Shoulda,
on hole
woulda,
17.
coulda.
Yeah. Yeah. My glory days.
I can't think of an embarrassing throw, but since I mostly do video type stuff, I have a couple embarrassing moments dealing with disc golf and video. It was USDGC. I believe it was USDGC, or maybe it was Worlds ever in North Carolina, the same place.
Isn't that when they did the AM and
it may be in North Carolina, but South Carolina, Rock Hill is only USDGC.
Maybe it was you. It was the beginning of my disc golf media career, and I would do side jobs, and I was working for Disc Golf Planet TV. And they flew me out there, and I was out there just filming, making feature videos.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what hole it was. I don't remember any. All I remember is we were waiting for the next card to finish putting out, and it was a long tunnel. The fairway was a long tunnel. And I kept looking back. I looked back, and I thought, should I be filming here to film them throwing, or should I run and film the catch?
Yeah, catch cam.
And I kept going back and forth. And in my mind, I thought, if I take off running, I bet you I could get there in time.
Oh, no.
So I've got my backpack. I've got my camera in my hand. And I make the decision. I'm going to take off running. So I take off running. And a wooden course is, what do you have on the ground?
Yeah,
logs. Little logs.
Branches.
Stumps and
chips.
stuff. And I tripped on one. And so everybody watching, I just planted face first and just boom right there in the middle of the fairway.
Face. That sucks. Yeah.
Of course, I got up and I felt stupid, so I laughed and said, "I'm okay," and I was like laughing and stuff. So I ran down there and I got some pretty good shots. But
you're like, "Ha, leave me alone."
Did it actually hurt?
I'm sure it did.
I remember it hurting my knees.
Yeah.
The way I landed. So yeah.
I've never done anything embarrassing on video.
Yeah.
Except for that one thing. Except for that one video that you just put out.
Yeah.
It's cool.
All right. Next question comes from Travis. When I drive, I use a power grip, but I found myself getting about 50 more feet and more accuracy when I keep my index finger free rather than using it to grip.
That's
Does
weird.
he put it like on the flight?
I guess.
Plate?
Does this come down to just a
Trying to
comfort
pitch.
thing, or does this cause less resistance when releasing the disc, giving it more spin?
That one's really, really strange.
I keep my index finger free when using the grip. Free as in...
I would assume, yeah. I mean, the only sort of like 3-finger grips that I've seen work are dropping your pinky off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen like Drew Gibson throws his power grips with his pinky off, just 3 fingers. I know, pretty sure Michael Johansson throws with fewer than 4 fingers underneath the flight plate. I've never seen an index finger work off, and I think part of the problem when you take that index finger off is that your pinch point when you're throwing a backhand is usually between your index finger and your thumb. So now you're moving, you're just creating a new point of release. And there's also this finger that could kind of interfere with it. So I would work on personally keeping that finger under and just working with that grip. But I don't know. It's kind of what we say about putting. Like if it's working for you, then
Yeah, didn't he say that his accuracy and distance was better
yeah,
with that grip?
it is. But I don't know if that's like, I don't know what distance that is. Like I had a friend who used to do that, who would throw with his finger on the rim and he could throw out to 300, like pretty straight, but he could never get over 300.
Like that caused, he
Yes.
reached his limit.
Yes. So, and it may just be that he's at a plateau. And so I don't know.
It just sounds like to me that it's just something that he made work for him, something that was comfortable in his hand. And, you know, there's all kinds of players who have some unique
Sure.
forms and techniques that seems to work fine. But.
Sure. And if you're able to do what you need to on the course with it, then do your thing.
I would say, yeah, do your thing. If it seems to be working, do your thing, but don't leave out or don't be resistant to trying to use your whole hand.
Yeah.
Because even though you're able to get 50 more accuracy, because you do that, are you doing it because of that or in spite of that?
Right. Like, yeah, because you may be losing out on something else
right.
that you don't know because you're just like, it may be a mental thing too. It may just feel more comfortable to you. So I don't know. So
it's just keep an open mind overall.
Yeah.
You just have to do some what they A/B testing where try it out for. Now I'm not saying one afternoon. This is gonna have to be something you try over and over again to see which is better. You can't just throw one and the next one and say, oh, okay, well that's
this is it. I've made my decision.
So
found it.
All right, next question comes from Triton.
Hey, Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze. Robert, please give me a nickname soon. McCabe. And Eric, my name is all I need. McCabe. This is Triton from Emporia. I'm sure you know where that's at. I mean, I don't know where that's at. But anyways, I had a question more towards Bobby and the YouTube channel. What happened to After Hours at the warehouse? I loved that series. I loved what you did at that series. And I just want to know, are you just done recording it? I mean, it was only 3 months ago when you uploaded the last one that you did. But I just kind of like to see that thing come back. I mean, it was a really nice series that you had going. Anyways, thank you so much for all you do. And I hope that series comes back. Thank you guys. Bye.
Yeah, Bobby, what did happen to that?
What did happen? Well, what happened was the disc golf season really kicked into gear and we were traveling a lot. I was traveling quite a bit. And so the After Warehouse series is something that I thought it'd be kind of a fun way to introduce people to new releases. Just kind of a different way to do that. And I was having fun with it and people really enjoyed watching it. So my plan is to do it again once the disc golf season sort of slows down a little bit.
We haven't had a ton of new releases in the last 3 months.
Super new stuff. We do have, we've got some deputies in different plastics coming out next few days. And
sometimes I like to, and now not all of them was a new release. Some of it was just stuff that maybe people forget about or we don't talk about a lot, but like the scoreboards and a few other things So yeah, in my mind, I almost think of it as seasons. Like I did episode 1 through 9, season 1, and the next one will be season 2. And so I'm going to have some fun with it. So Triton, I hope I'm saying your name right. Make sure you stay tuned to our YouTube channel because I will be doing more here in the near future.
Nice.
Next one is from DK.
Like Dustin Keegan, DK?
It just says DeeKaye.
Okay.
DK.
Hey, what's up, Bobby, Eric, Robert, whoever else might be there. No nicknames needed, in my opinion. You guys are doing a great job. David from London, Ontario, Canada. Love what you guys are doing. My question is, with regards to The Office, you guys are big fans. Just curious what your favorite scene or phrase or, awesome. Give me your best moment in The Office. Because as I said, I'm a huge fan. Love to hear what you guys think. Keep doing what you're doing. And Bobby, keep it real. Eric, keep the courses coming. And Robert, you're the man. Cheers.
You're the man.
You're the man.
I'm not able to keep it real, but at least I'm the man. That's cool. I did something. What do you think, Dee?
Oh, gosh, that's really hard.
It's super hard.
I love all the things of The Office.
Yes.
Maybe do me last, and I'll think of my favorite.
Bobby, you have one?
My favorite moment?
Favorite moment, or line, or whatever.
I mean,
just pick one. Yeah, I know. Like here's the thing: is like I'm gonna say one, and I know that I'm gonna get home and be like, you know what, I like this better. but at least we just have one.
That's true.
So just pick one. How about here's a good criteria that you laugh every time you see it, because I know you've watched it several times through.
I have a
definitely
good one.
do. Okay,
just in general is the episode with the snowball fight between Dwight and Jim.
Yes, that's
pretty classic.
Yes,
and I feel
it's like
I'm like equally entertained and mortified at the same time.
True. That's I like that episode because it's one of the only episodes ever where Dwight gets the better of Jim.
Yeah, that's true.
Jim always gets the better of Dwight, and we laugh at his expense.
At the end that it's almost.
So yeah, we have I laugh at that one every time.
Okay.
All right. Yes.
The one moment that I can think of that just bust out gut laughing was when Jim left Scranton and went to the other place.
Okay. To Stanford.
Was it Stanford?
Yeah.
Okay, so we went to the other place, and it was like the episode right after, and it begins with Dwight crying, and he's like, he goes, "I miss Jim so much," and then all of a sudden he goes, "False."
False. I do not miss him.
Oh, you made me think of another one too.
Okay, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I do like that one. Yeah, because the first time you see that, you're like, "Oh, this is sad." Oh,
yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
Pure
care.
Dwight.
Well, it was just Michael's reaction when Toby comes back.
Yes.
No. And then when he calls to complain, he gets caught that he's been there for like a week.
Yes.
And he's like, what's
Exactly.
his face? The boss is like, "What? Have you not gone back there? How did
Yeah.
you not notice?"
I like
you
that
had
one
him
too.
play back?
I love it because like Jim and Pam are so nonchalant about him being there, and I think maybe it's Kelly who says, "I was just going to take this brownie back to Toby," and he was like, "Oh, all the way in Costa Rica or wherever."
Yeah.
It's like Toby works here again, and Michael just is like incredulous.
He just freaks
Cool
out.
joke, Jim. Yeah, I like that one. I think there are two that I laugh at every time I see him. One of them is a phrase, and one of them is a scene. The phrase, and people put this on Facebook quite a bit now, is when they start the Michael Scott Paper Company, and on their whiteboard it has written, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take," in quotes, and then it says Wayne Gretzky, and then after that in quotes again, Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Like,
How did they come up with that?
Yeah, what ingenious mind
Genius.
just said, "You know what? I'm going to take this quote and make it my quote."
Right.
Still quoting the person,
Right, but it's my quote.
That's genius.
That's comic and genius.
But I think the scene that I laugh at the most every single time is it's around season 5 or 6. Stanley's already had his heart attack, and they have a CPR training class.
Oh, I was gonna say this one too.
Yeah, and so they've got it's just everything about the scene, but it really kicks off whenever they say, she says, "You need to do compressions at 100 beats per minute." Right. And she says that's and Michael says, "How many beats is that per hour?" Anyway. And then, but she says that you can do it to the tune of "Staying Alive." She said, "Do you know that song?" And Michael says, "Yeah, of course I do. At first I was afraid. I was petrified." Obviously not that song. And then she starts singing "Staying Alive." Mm-hmm. Then Andy starts singing "Staying Alive" even louder. Then everyone joins, like a couple of people join in. And the funniest part of the whole friggin' scene is that the camera cuts to Kelly, who has now stood up and like can't help but dance.
Yeah.
I can't handle that. Like I cannot handle that.
Well, what gets me about that episode is later on when Dwight cuts the face off the dummy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Silence of the Lambs.
There was somebody
I
on
appreciated
Facebook.
that.
Yeah.
There was someone on Facebook. I think it was Ryan George. I don't mean to call you out, Ryan George. But he posted on Facebook. He said he thinks that The Office is the dumbest show.
Okay. Well, I think you're the dumbest person.
Yes. How can you not get the comedy of The Office? If you're listening and you don't like the comedy of The Office, then you don't know what funny is.
I agree.
Now I
agree. There's so many levels. There are so many levels.
And I will give it to someone if they've only watched like 1 or 2,
mm-hmm.
and they're like, because it's hard for me to go back and watch 1 and 2 and not appreciate it more because I've built a relationship with the characters.
Exactly.
But I get it if you're like you're totally fresh, haven't seen anything, and you watch the first 1, 2, 3, and you're like, okay, maybe I chuckled, but what's the deal? Give it to about episode 6.
Yeah.
Even then, about 4 or 5. And once you really start getting to know the characters, it's you're
done.
You're done.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yeah. We watch that like when I'm going to sleep, Shay and I watch that almost every night. So we've watched it through who knows how many times by now.
Hilarious.
Like probably 10 or 12.
All right, let's get back to disc golf.
I don't know.
Can we just have like a talk about the Office podcast?
That was good.
Because I'll be signed up for that every time.
Yeah, I'm interested.
We can branch off to other good shows.
I'm interested.
Parks and Rec. Ooh.
Yes.
That's a good one too. Next one is from Mitchell.
What is up, Disc Golf Answer Man crew? My name is Mitchell from Delaware. I don't know if any of you have played in the area, but there are a ton of courses, and it's a great location. But anyways, I have a couple questions for you guys today. The first is I am just a freshman in college, and I've noticed that now that I just started school and I can only really play once or twice on the weekends, I have been horrible compared to what I was in the summer when I could play all the time. So I was wondering if you guys had any tips or tricks to sort of keep up my game so that when I do play that once or two times on the weekends, I am still successful and I'm not sort of taking steps backwards from where I was in the summer. And my second question is,
This is perfect timing because that is my quick tip of the day basically pertains to exactly what I would say to that. So can I make this the quick tip of the day?
I don't know. That's kind of cheating.
What? But it's what I was going to say.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So or I guess for the week, whatever. The quick tip this week is talking about, I wrote an article on the blog about field work and about some different things that you should do when you're doing field work. But actually just today, because I'd been thinking about this a little bit, a lot of people go out to the field and just throw and throw and throw and throw. And they throw for like a couple of hours and they think, you know what, I'm not going to leave this field until I've either like thrown farther than I have before, or I've fixed every little thing in my form or whatever. And it's just like, you can't focus for that amount of time. You just get tired. Then you start making mistakes. Then you leave the field frustrated. And so I was talking on the phone with Zach Melton earlier today, and he was saying when he goes to the field, most of the time he only does it for like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And just to really just work on one thing, like keep everything fresh, throw the shots that you need to, make sure everything feels good. And then you can leave on a high note because you're not exhausted yet. You've probably thrown, you could still probably throw, I don't know, 100 shots, 150. They don't all have to be full power. They can be a lot of different things, but don't go out and do that for hours and hours and hours because you're going to leave tired and frustrated. Instead, when you do field work, break it up into smaller segments. I think that helps a lot. And Zach has been playing exceptionally well lately, and that's how he's been doing it. So
killing it.
I think that's a good idea. But that's what I would recommend to you. That's the tough part about, having a job or going to school is that when you get to play disc golf every day, you have the muscle memory and you have the mental game. And once that repetition is decreased, it's really hard to remain at that same level. And so what I would recommend is just try and find that 20 or 30 minutes that you can just go and keep everything fresh. It doesn't have to be a full round. But when you do that, you're going to keep that muscle memory in there so that when you do get to play a full round, it doesn't feel so foreign to you.
Yeah, even just try to get there 20 minutes early before your round that you're going to play. And, throw whatever discs you have in your bag, putters, mids, drivers, whatever. Just throw them all in the field back and forth a few times and really kind of get the feel. And like Robert said, if there's one particular thing that you feel your timing's not right, your release point, try to concentrate on that. And that'll really help kind of keep your skills a little more consistent.
Yeah. Second part of the question. Sorry.
The thing I always want to say on this, when people ask, he's been playing a while, or he plays a lot, then he plays well, then he doesn't get to play for whatever reason, school, work, life, family, whatever.
Right.
You have to always understand that there's always a trade-off.
Yes.
There is always a trade-off. So if disc golf is your number one priority, then you're going to get better at disc golf. Obviously, if school is more of a priority, you're not going to excel at disc golf, and it's just one of the things.
As much.
Yes, you're not going to. Yeah, I'm not saying you're going to like totally go terrible. So you've got to find those 20, 30 minutes moments in the day. And so, did he say he was going to school?
Yeah, he's a college freshman.
Student.
College freshman. So if it means going to class, and then let's say you've set aside 2 hours to study that night. You could say 20 minutes is going to be for putting. 20 minutes is going to be for going out to the field and throwing. So that, like you said, that muscle memory would be there. And if you look and you say, well, Bobby, but that means then I don't get to study, or that means I don't get to play Madden, or I don't get to hang out with my friends, or I don't get to go to that party and drink.
Right.
That's the trade-off.
Yeah, that's your trade-off. It's about, priority, I think, is a really key word when we talk about this.
Right.
Because you can be pretty good at a lot of things, or you can be really good at a few things.
Right.
And if you want this to be one of your few things, you really need to dedicate time to it, because that muscle memory isn't something that comes back overnight. You need to keep it going. And I'm feeling the effects of this right now. Like, I haven't been playing a lot lately, maybe once a week. And this last weekend, I only played, I played one round, and I feel it because my shots aren't coming out clean.
Right.
My putts aren't quite what they should be. You know, I don't have, and mentally too, I don't have the confidence I normally have. And so if that's going to be one of your few things, you really need to make it a priority.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to take study breaks anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good study break too.
Yeah.
Just kind of grab a handful of putters in the basket and you'll be good to go.
Yep. Second part.
I was sort of wondering where this stigma came from that the forehand is sort of a new, I don't know, younger players type thing, because I'll notice that older players like Barry Schultz and obviously like Ken Climas, they didn't really throw many. So I was wondering when the forehand developed or became a viable option and why we only pretty much, or we don't see a ton of the older players throwing it. I've always kind of wondered about that. I am a predominantly forehand player, so I was just wondering what the deal was on that. Anyways, thanks for all your help. Keep up the great work. And I always listen to you guys in between classes. So thank you.
I have a good one for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think like the old school guys, the plastic that they played with for so many years is a lot different from what we have at our disposal these days. So, I mean, I'm not saying the plastic that they used before wasn't suited for forehand shots, but I think we have a lot more stable stuff and faster discs that make throwing long distance forehands a lot easier. Like I'm sure the old school guys all can throw that really smooth, like kind of hyzer flip forehand, get out of trouble, Annie forehand, stuff like that. But my guess would be it's because the plastic that was really suited for those power shots just wasn't really there when they were, you know, when they first started playing and throughout a lot of their careers.
Yeah, I think that's really true. And yeah, I don't know, if you go back and watch a lot of the old coverage, the courses weren't really built a lot like courses are today. You know, there are if they were playing a 600-foot hole and the fastest thing anybody had was a Viper or whatever, they know nobody's reaching that in one. You know, even if it's downhill, nobody's getting there in one. So they could play backhand and be there. But when courses stretch out and say there's like a 400-foot hole that finishes to the right and it's through the woods, you're not really going to get a backhand there. But because of those high-speed discs, you can get a forehand there. And so I think they probably didn't throw a lot of forehands out of because there wasn't really necessity at the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Becky from Kansas. Hello, Bobby Funkmaster Brown, Eric Oldman McCabe. Oh,
sorry about you.
Cool.
Almost master's age.
Robert No Love McCall.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out.
When I'm putting, I tend to stand on one leg until my disc hits the basket. I've developed a habit of taking my first step forward with the hanging foot. I try not to, but when I'm not actively thinking about it, it happens again. If it was immediate, it would definitely be a falling putt. Does my balancing until the disc stops change that, or is that still a foot fault? If it's a foot fault, you could use it to your advantage, stepping ahead or behind the line, depending on if you liked the putt.
But that would be cheap.
Gentleman's game, disc golf.
And somebody could probably point out, you sure seem to be doing a lot of falling putts.
Well, I bet after the first one, then it's a stroke.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
So you could use it to your advantage once, really.
Right.
For me, it's always a better safe than sorry in that situation. I know that. So somebody who at least used to putt like this a lot was Will Schustrick. If you go and watch videos from when he won a USDGC, I want to say it was, I don't remember the last one that he won, 15 or something like that. But when he putts, he would let the putt go, it hit the chains, and his back foot would already be up, and he would just walk through it. And that's not, I wouldn't have called it a foot fault because I said he's very balanced at the time. But a lot of people say, you know, you need to demonstrate balance in whatever way.
Does it specify that you have to demonstrate balance with both feet versus
No, it doesn't.
one?
It doesn't. It's just like, I don't know. I think it's kind of a gray area in the rules. It's certainly a card decision. If you delay it long enough, then yeah, I don't think swinging that foot forward is a problem. But I like to make a habit, even when I'm practicing, of let my putt go. I'm balanced on one leg, and once it hits or doesn't or whatever, I put my foot down. I pick up my mini and my other disc, whatever disc I marked, and then go to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like, above and beyond, you could never ever say that was a foot fault.
Yeah, I actually had this issue when I was kind of an amateur and first learning. You know, I played casually forever, but then
Right.
after a few years, I started playing leagues and really learning the rules and, you know, the finer points of the game. And I actually just naturally had kind of a falling putt.
Sure.
And what I ended up doing was I changed my putt to the point where, I mean, I'm like kind of a leg kicker now. I kick my back leg up, but I always make sure that foot, once I try to hold it to follow through, but once that I feel like I've, reached to the basket as much as I need to, I always make sure that back foot comes right back down, because it is easy. And even if you are pretty confident that on that one foot you're going to keep balance, you don't want to have that situation where you jam a nice putt and actually maybe you get a little excited and you do lose your balance, and perhaps you get called on it and lose that putt, which would kind of stink. So I think it's kind of what you said, better safe than sorry. Just try to make a small change. Hopefully it doesn't screw up your timing or your form, but a small change that'll kind of just eliminate that issue overall.
Absolutely.
All right, next one comes from James. Hello, Disc Golf Answer Man crew. Love the show, and I have a few questions for you. First, having heard that new players should play with putters to learn form, at what point should they move on to mids and drivers? I can fairly consistently throw my voodoos and deputy 180 feet. When I throw something made for more distance, like an express, I can only get an extra 40 feet out of it. Could this be a form issue or a lack of skill with drivers?
It could be a form issue, but I think more than likely, if you've just started playing like somewhat recently, it's just that you're not getting quite the acceleration that you need to. Because if your putters, if it's getting out there 180 feet and it's straight and controllable, that's awesome. You can work on accelerating more to get that putter out there, but that's just kind of a natural progression. It's not something that's going to happen overnight or with a quick, like a one thing change, and now you're throwing it so much farther. But I'd say if you're getting it out there and you're able to get, like a mid-range or if you threw a warrant or something that's going to be a little bit slower spinning mid-range, but that could maybe get a little bit of extra glide, I wouldn't be afraid to start working with that. But yeah, I think if you throw putters to start off with for the longest time, once you get them to go straight, where you can let them go straight, they fly flat and land flat, then I say you're ready to start moving on to a mid-range, a fairway driver, assuming that you're getting out. I think you want your putter a little past 200-ish to start really moving up into those other discs. Personally, if you're just starting out like that.
What disc did he say he moved up to that's only going a little farther?
He said an express.
What's an express? What's that fly like?
Well, it's a Discraft disc.
Is it pretty stable?
I'm not sure. I know that they have several different discs that start with X, and I don't keep them straight very well. I know what the XL is.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what an express does.
Yeah, it sounds like...
I'd say it was understable. I don't know. I'm not sure.
It would be hard to say without knowing if that express is flying on the same line that the putter is.
That's a good call.
That would be helpful information to know. But I think just making sure if you're throwing a neutral putter that you move up to a neutral mid and you can mimic that flight that you're making your putter do. Assuming that you're releasing your putt with hyzer and having just a nice smooth hyzer golf shot.
Yep.
I mean, technically we don't know. He could be, cranking it over and letting the putter come back, even though a putter doesn't normally do that. Kudos for starting with a putter, by the way, because I think that's the best way to learn good form. Because it's hard to a putter won't fight back, so it shows any issues you may have. That might be a good one to post a video for on the Disc Golf
so we can take a look at it.
That?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because a lot of players when they first start are just like, I want to go fast, so they pick up the fastest thing and they're like, this will make me throw far. And it obviously is not the case.
It'll teach you bad form. Don't do it.
He says, finally, in my bag, I have a River Pro and an Express for distance. I would like to support DD. Well, thank you very much, James.
Thanks, man.
What would be a good disc to fill the gaps from the DD line?
Did he say what his putter was?
He did not.
Gateway.
He said Voodoo and Deputy.
Oh, so pretty neutral, right?
Yeah, I would say pretty neutral. So if you're throwing a fairway driver of ours, I'd say a neutral fairway would probably be an escape. It'll be it's a little fast if you're just stepping up from a putter, but I think it's a nice neutral fairway that at first will definitely go left on you. Like it's going to, but that's kind of the next step in the progression where you get to see once you start standing that up a little bit more, you're like, okay, I'm picking up a little bit more arm speed. Once you can throw that flat and have it land flat, you can start see, I'm really picking up some arm speed. Mm-hmm. You might also, the witness may be a little too understable for you. It's going to finish to the right most likely, but that'll be a helpful shot for you in that kind of speed range.
Yeah, I think witness is a good choice because that's also going to kind of be an indicator of, because if he's throwing a putter about 180, I'm guessing he's probably doesn't have the arm speed to turn over a witness yet. And I could be off on that.
Maybe it moves to the right, but it's certainly not going to turn and burn.
Yeah, yeah. So if he can get that witness to kind of flip up and fly flat and straight, then, that's a good indicator that that's working out. And the escape, the witness will be, if he is turning something over, the witness is going to show that glitch more than an escape would, because an escape would probably fight back. But honestly, I'd say try both.
For sure.
Because you're going to, over time, as your disc golf game grows, you're going to possibly have use for both of those discs.
Absolutely. So. I think that's a good idea.
Excelente. Cool. Next one comes from Mikey.
What is up, Disc Golf Answer Man, Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, Eric the Junior Sheriff McCabe, and Robert Quick Tips McCall. Hope you guys are doing well. I am currently in Georgia with my wife and her family, avoiding the Hurricane Irma that went through Florida recently. And while I was up here, I went to Academy, a store that we do not have in South Florida, and I found in the very back shelf in their disc golf section, I found a Lucid Sheriff. It says Lucid, but it does not look like a Lucid Sheriff. I have a Lucid Sheriff in my bag. It's my farthest throwing disc, and I love it. Now, this particular one I found, it looks like it's a blend of a couple different plastics. It almost looks like it has some sparkle in it, a little bit of bubble maybe. You can't really see through it like most Lucid plastics that I have. I did some research, and I keep finding the word opaque, but I'm not sure exactly if that's what this is. It also is not as domey as my current Sheriff. It's a lot more flat. I am sick right now, and I haven't thrown it, unfortunately. But my question is, what causes this, and how is this going to throw differently than my other Lucid Sheriff? Is this something that is hard to find? Is this something I should throw, or is it something that's rare that I shouldn't throw? Not really sure. Would love to know your thoughts on how this happens, why it happens, and if there's a benefit to it. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for answering our questions. You guys are awesome.
I think I've got a decent idea of what he's talking about. We ran a run of Sparkle Defenders that were kind of like this, that aren't just like, they don't have the occasional metal flake here or the occasional sparkle here. It's like the whole thing is really sparkly. I assume that's what he's talking about. Those usually look opaque. They are a Lucid blend. It's kind of like the same way that we did those special edition Criminals, the silver ones. So the defenders that we had in that plastic were extremely overstable, like more so than most any other defender. And I think that's probably going to be the case with the same Sheriff. I don't think it's rare to the point where you shouldn't throw it. Like maybe you could sell it for, I don't know, $5 more than you got it for, maybe. But in my opinion, I don't think it's worth that. If you already really like the Sheriff and the mold feels comfortable in your hand, this is basically just an overstable version of that. And I think it will be nice and overstable for you. What makes that happen as far as the flatness and the dome goes, that's part of the cooling process. Some batches cool differently than others. And so the discs set a little bit differently. But as far as the plastic goes, we run those metallic ones occasionally. So I wouldn't call it anything super special to the point where you shouldn't try it out and throw it.
Yeah, if you're in the area and you don't have a disc golf shop near you, but you have an Academy store near you, definitely want to check it out, because we put several molds in different Academy stores. So next one comes from Lee. Do you like that?
Yeah, man.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man crew. My name is Lee. I've been playing about 2.5 years. I really love what you guys are doing for the sport, and really enjoy listening to the show. My question today is regarding something I saw during the Vibram Open. I believe it was Nicholas Masters throwing a 405-foot slight downhill shot with what I think was a putter. And I want to know what it is that pros that are throwing these long putter shots are doing that make it, that get that kind of distance. Do they have a really good snap? Are they just inducing so much spin on the disc that they're able to get it to fly longer and farther? And it's not that I need to be able to throw that far with a putter. It's just I'm working on improving my form, and want to be able to throw better shots with a little less effort, and take care of my body for the long run since I'm almost 42. If you could answer that in the form of come to my house and show me everything you know about disc golf, that would be great. Thanks again, you guys. Keep up the good work.
We have already booked our flights out there. We'll see you shortly. Now.
Just on premonition, we were like, you know what? This question will likely be asked.
Yes. Yeah. I almost want to say all of the above.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the thing. That's why these guys, because their form, the rate at which they twist their hips, the way that they bring the disc across their chest, it's just everything is going. It's the machine that's working. Every piece and part is working much better together at the same time than other people. And that's why they're, I don't know that there's I don't think there's one specific thing you can pinpoint and say, oh, well, Azad, it's because he does this with his arm.
Right.
It's a multiple things that he does correctly that allows him to have such pure form and allow him to get that distance.
Yeah. And extreme precision, I think, is a really big portion of it. And like I said, that acceleration is so important. I think I know what hole he's talking about. I believe it's hole 13 at Vibram. Straight downhill into trees, and it really needs to fly straight the entirety of the flight. It can't really do a lot of finishing to the right or left once it's past the initial set of trees, or else you're buried. And Nicholas was throwing that. I believe that was a prime judge that he was throwing. And he was throwing that all over the place. And the way that guys like that make that work is that their form is just really, really super good. Like, honestly, there's not a great explanation outside of that, except for they've thrown it like that a whole lot.
I think it's so interesting because you talk about a lot in disc golf, getting the disc up to speed, but not overpowering discs. It's so impressive to me because I've been really concentrating on trying to throw putters for a couple years now, how far they can get them without overpowering them.
Right.
Without flipping them over, making them turn and burn. They can flip it up on that line and just have them go dead straight forever, farther than, somebody with a slower arm speed might be able to hit that line, but without that same acceleration and precision that they have, it's not going to go nearly as far. It's going
to tail off early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to be fair, that hole probably plays around 330 or so, but still, impressive shot, and to control it all the way down there, and that's pure form. The fact that the putter is a great choice for that shot because it wants to stay spinning more slowly, so it's not going to travel a lot left to right.
Yep.
So it was a great choice for that shot, and I think that's something that every player, once you're at that level where you're throwing 400, 450, get to where you can throw your putters about 300. And that's, I would say that's like an elite level skill to have, is putters that you can throw 300 to a little more and straight.
Yep. They don't deviate from their flight path at all.
Yep.
Nice. Next one is Chris with a K.
Like our Chris.
Edson?
Yes, but it's not Edson.
Okay.
I love the podcast, and listening to it has motivated me to buy not one, but two EMAC True.
Nice.
He would be so happy if he was right here. But he would
I'll
say
be
probably
happy
more.
for him.
There you go.
I'm very happy.
There you go.
It's by far my favorite disc I've ever thrown. I can't imagine trying to play around without it. Here's the question. Say you are pitting. Huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, putting. I think you meant putting.
Putting.
Yeah. Say you are putting and the disc lands on top of the basket. Does it count as an extra stroke to move it down the foot into the change, or is that considered in? Is it played as though that stuck in a tree? Now, I live in California, so sadly I have to put up with a 2-meter rule, which honestly I still don't understand, and I don't either. That's why we don't do it here.
I also don't either.
That's why DD events you'll never
I kind
see
of
the
get it.
2-meter rule. Right, but it's stupid.
I don't like it.
So how would you change if it's an elevated basket? It doesn't change. The fact that it landed on top of the basket is not in. It just rested on top of the basket, but it must come to rest in the cage of the basket to count as in.
Right.
So you literally are just going to. I mean, if you're in a tournament, obviously, if cows around, you just walk up, put your foot, and you grab it and put it down. If you're in a tournament, you will basically want to take your mini marker, and mark it right underneath the basket, just like if you would if it was in a tree, straight down, and then grab the putter and put it in the basket.
That's interesting to think about, though. What if the top of the basket is
over 2 meters high?
Over 2 meters.
I don't know.
Would the TD have to like specify for that situation?
Honestly, hadn't thought about that before. I don't know. That's a weird one.
I feel like that's part of what he's asking.
That could be
how that would work.
Yeah, but I know. I mean, the rule is written that the putter needs to be, or disc, whatever, needs to be supported on the inner portion or bottom of the basket or the chains. So it can't be teetering on the rim. It can't be wedged into the side. The inner portion of the basket and or the bottom or the chains. So top of the basket doesn't help you. Sorry.
All right, we got time for a few more questions. This one's from Andrew. Hey, fellas, I played a speed round yesterday at a nearby par 3 course. I took 3 discs with me and finished the entire round in less than 20 minutes. Throughout the round, I noticed that my mental game was benefiting. I think it's because there was hardly any time to think in between shots. I was able to quickly visualize my shot and trust my disc. What are your thoughts on speed golf? Any ideas on how to keep score based on strokes and time? I'll interject only real quick before you guys. In that, I think that's really cool, Andrew. I think that's great that you felt like that quick round made you just throw rather than think. But don't take it doing it one time as it being a better way of doing it. You need to put, and in other words, I'd like to see you after 10 more rounds of speed golf and tell me, did all 10 of those rounds beat a previous 10 rounds of you playing regular? And I think you'll find that it may be a little bit better, but I don't think it's going to be overall better to where speed golf is the way to do it. In other words, not thinking about it. I think it comes down to, it's not necessarily that you either think or think about it, but that you've put the time in before tournament day. In other words, that's why, and we've talked about it before, that's why footballs you had 2-a-days. That's why football you do the play over and over and over and over again. So that when it matters in the game, you don't think about it. As soon as they call that play, you immediately know you go straight and then left. That's exactly what you do because that's what the call was played. But it's because you did it over and over again. So in other words, you walk up to a hole, you see what you have to throw, you know what disc you're going to pick up. You're like, yes, I know that my EMAC truth does that. The wind is doing this. And I know if I throw it like this, it's going to do this. And that's what you do. But that's because you've done it over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think you're maybe simulating some of that with speed golf, but I certainly wouldn't say it's the best way to practice. I do like the mentality of walking up, seeing your shot and throwing so that if you're a person whose mind races a lot, you don't have to think while you're on the box. Right. You just get up and throw. That's not a bad spot to be. And so if you could find, a happy medium to where.
Right. But you don't think because you know what that defender is going to do in that wind.
Yeah. True.
That's why a lot of times when people do really good at their home courses, then they go to some course that's like an hour away and then they're like, oh my God, I completely forgot I played disc golf.
Right.
Here I thought I was killing it on this one course. It's because you've practiced that course over and over
in every
again.
situation.
Right, in every situation. Whereas, you need to practice for all situations, but in a sense to where you walk up and you say, that's my defender shot. I know what the defender's going to do. And boom.
Yep.
Well, and it's such a different mind state when you're kind of playing speed golf versus in a competitive round that I think it's going to be really hard to compare those things. You're just getting up and you're throwing and you're not putting a lot of thought into it. And I think that kind of relates to where a lot of people say, hey, when I'm playing a casual round, I throw so well and then I get in tournament setting and I just can't seem to execute my shots. And I think that comes down to not overthinking things and just going off kind of what you said, that what you've thrown before and your muscle memory and just your basic practice and repetitions of a certain shot. But at the same time, I think just like physiologically if you're playing a speed round, I'm guessing you're running, so your heart rate's different. Your body's on a different wavelength. So I definitely wouldn't ever consider that good practice for a slow paced casual round where it's way more mental versus, a slow paced competitive round where it's way more mental versus mainly physical, which is what you have during like a speed round like that.
Yeah. And there's really no consequence in a speed round or just a casual round, because say we go to Jones East and I throw a 50 during a speed round, like cool. And if I'm playing a speed round and I throw a 65, who cares? It's a speed round. You know, that doesn't impact me mentally. So having that, because muscle memory extends to your mental game as well. If you are used to being in a situation where you have to think through a shot and have to have processed everything before you throw, the more that you've done that, the more you're going to be able to do it when it counts. Instead of if you don't have to do any of that and there's no consequence and you just throw. I don't know.
Yeah. He also said something about any ideas how to keep score based on stroking time. I've never played speed rounds, so.
Maybe singing some kind of fun way to incorporate, time per hole, like a bonus point for doing it in a certain amount of time. I think that's whatever he wants to work out there.
I also haven't really done that, so.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I'm not very speedy.
All right, we got time. We got time.
I'm not very speedy. Is that what you said?
Time for one more question. This one's from John.
What's up, Disc Golf Answer Man crew? This is John with another question about plastic.
Do you remember his other question about plastic?
Nope.
All right.
So I have a special edition slammer from when the slammers first came out. I guess after the protos. Either way, it is the special edition slammer. It's one of the blue and purple, really cool swirly looking colorway. It's great disc, beautiful, love it. Curious, what is the plastic that these were made in? I currently only have Prime for dynamic discs baseline plastics. I love the Prime. It's a great feel. And I'm just curious what that special edition slammer is. All right, guys. I'll see you at Pocono.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. This will be a quick answer, so if you want to do one more, that's fine. It's a classic blend plastic.
Boom.
We have slammers available in the Prime? Not Prime. The protos were available in Prime.
Yes.
The earliest protos, but then we have them in classic blend, and classic soft, and then maybe not classic soft, but definitely classic super soft for TFR discs. So
and then some kind of lucid hybrid or something for.
We do have them
Dymax,
in
for Dymax, right? I know I got Sebastian on a slammer.
And
it's
we've got variations of lucid and moonshine,
and Eric has a Ralph one.
He does have a Ralphie one.
Yeah.
Ralph slammer.
All right, Justin, you snuck in.
Sneaky.
Justin gets his question.
Hey guys, Justin from Oregon here. I've actually got one question for each of you guys, just real quick.
Oh.
Eric, I've often heard you describe the Convict as a longer EMAC Truth. Is there a disc you would describe as a shorter EMAC Truth?
Well, one of you is going to have to fill in for Eric.
I've heard him talk a lot about the EMAC and the Convict kind of being good complements, but I've never heard mention of something that would be a good
like a
step
shorter,
down from the EMAC. I would say maybe either a regular Truth, if you're okay with it being a little less stable, or some kind of neutral to slightly overstable putter.
Yeah, I mean, what he throws in that slot is the Marshall for that putter, so I would say probably that. He threw the Sarek some, like the ones that we got from Tennessee, and he's like in the flight of that. But I'd say if he was going to compare it to anything, it'd probably be a Marshall that's a little bit worn in.
Put the Sarek back in my bag.
Yep, they're good.
It's a really fun disc.
It is. So
they stay in the air for very long.
Okay, let's hurry up. Robert keeps looking at his watch.
No, that's not. I get notifications.
I'm just picking on you.
I have things to do, Bob.
Hey, we were told to make fun of you more.
Yeah, well, mission accomplished.
Yeah, okay. All right, next part.
And Bobby, if you weren't the media director for Dynamic Discs, what other job do you think you would have?
That's an interesting question.
At Dynamic Discs or not?
I don't know.
Who are you going to fire today so that you can have their job?
Yeah. I wouldn't be working at DDE because I wouldn't have no other in.
Right.
Well, what did you do before? You were banker?
I was I worked at a credit union, and I was first I started as a member service rep, where I would, if you came in and open an account, or if you had an issue with your account or something, you know, was off balance and you needed help balancing your account, I was the worst person to help with that.
Why?
Because I
So you could be
because you
Jackie.
don't really care.
because I'm not good at math.
Okay.
I'm horrible at math.
Yeah.
And so when I see lines that I have to add, I'm out.
We're done.
That's why they make software for balancing your checking account. And
That's fair.
I use it all the time. So so it's not the balancing of the checkbook, it's the actual doing all the math and then remembering, oh wait, did I that one check? Anyway. And then I started working in IT and I was doing video stuff for them. I was able to talk them into buying me a camera, and I was doing training videos.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd imagine if I wasn't with DD, I would have pursued that even more and hopefully worked in doing something with media with the credit union, which I find kind of funny. I don't think anybody listened to the show that used to work at the credit union. So I hope I don't make anybody mad. But what I find funny is that they started getting more into social media at the credit union. And in fact, they hired a social media guy and started doing more social media stuff. And I wanted to be in that. And I was told, I wasn't told to my face, but I heard that I was told that I wasn't much of a go-getter and didn't think I would do well in social media.
Wah, wah.
In your face,
In
credit
your
union.
Face. Now, of course, I love disc golf and I love dynamic disc, so I'm sure that
So it worked
helps
out
me.
well.
Yeah, it worked out well. So that's, I guess that's what I would be doing. Because at the time, actually, before DD, I was trying to do media production on my own. I was going to do like real estate, or I was going to actually live in an RV full time and try to travel and kind of do what Jomez is doing right now.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something very similar to that. So I would almost say that if my wife would have allowed me to continue, meaning allowed us to not have a lot of money,
Yeah, right.
trying to build the business of Cool Daddy, I would have been doing what Jomez is doing.
Yeah.
I would have been traveling around and doing tournament videos. All right, so I'm assuming the next one is from Eric, or is for Robert.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Finally, Robert.
Nope, sorry. I guess not.
Show's over, guys.
So, no, here we go.
I was noticing that you're the only person on the Disc Golf Answerman podcast who doesn't have his own disc. Eric, of course, has his signature disc, the EMAC
That's a good
Truth.
point.
Bobby even has his face on a Dimax on the Dynamic website for the Disc Golf Answerman podcast. And I don't want you to feel left out. So when you reach 1,000 rating with your bet with Bobby, I think you should up the ante. And instead of him just having to carry a disc with your face on it, you should get your own custom Dimax. Thanks, guys.
I'm interested in this bet.
Okay, so let's remind people what the bet is. So the bet goes back to when Robert first started, and I'll do this as a very quick version. The bet started when Robert first started working here, and I told him that his disc golf game would suffer because he works here, and he actually thought, no, it shouldn't suffer. In fact, I should be okay, and it somehow got around to where I made a bet that by the end of 2018, he will not be able to have reached 1,000 rated player.
Anytime between
Anytime,
then
right.
and the end of
Yeah,
2018.
not 1,000 rated round. He can have as many 1,000 rated rounds, but at some point, the PDGA has to report on his page that he is, in fact, 1,000 rated from a few months ago up until 2018.
Right.
On the morning of 2019, no, not the morning, but on the day of 2019, if he does not succeed, he owes me lunch. And I get to create a disc and put whatever I want on it, and he has to put it in his bag.
Yeah.
If he succeeds, then obviously
Then
vice versa.
yeah.
So, so just to clarify, Eric, I don't have a disc. I have a Dimax that you can put on a disc. Eric has a signature disc and several signature series, and you got to understand the difference. Signature disc means that his name, or actually his logo, is actually hot stamped on the disc. And that's his signature disc. He actually gets royalties off those discs because of winning a world championship. Because we feel that if you win a world championship, you deserve it. You deserve a disc.
What if you're on Disc Golf Answer Man? Do you deserve a disc with royalties as well?
I don't get royalties.
No, I'm saying,
Oh.
but we could maybe run that up the flagpole and see what we hear back.
It'll very quickly go down.
Okay,
back
well,
down
yeah,
the flagpole.
totally fair.
So I have a Dymax disc now, but to be fair, anybody can make a custom Dymax
That's
disc.
true.
I just have to make it available that you can get one with my face and it says keeping it real, and you can give it to somebody if you're like, hey, buddy, I'm going to keep it real.
Yeah.
So to be fair, Robert could make a Dymax today.
Yeah, I could.
But maybe we do need some kind
I'm
of...
not going to. Not today, at least. I have
something.
I have what time? It's 3:30. I got things to do.
Oh yeah, he's got things to do.
I definitely can't do it today.
Definitely be like running his finger through the hair. Doing one of these.
We've had there have been worse ideas.
Glamour
maybe
shot.
we should make it. We
Glamour shots. Give me a denim jacket.
We should make the logo with now that has all three of us on it. Maybe that's available as a Dymax.
Sure.
So
I don't know. I'll consider it.
All right.
I've been trying to think about like, because a lot of people have like logos, right? You know, so like Eric's logo would be either him putting like his silhouette or just even his signature. Everybody associates that with him. I don't really have one of those things, nor have I ever needed it really, because people just know me because I would just walk and be like, hey, I'm Robert. But now that we're doing the show sometimes and I want to like write on my discs or autograph them or something like that, I would like to have some type of logo like that, but I haven't really landed on anything yet. I don't think it's like imperative. I just think it would be cool.
I mean, I don't have a logo. I guess
Talk to Kev. He'll make you something cool.
Oh yeah, Kevin and I have talked a little, but I mean, it's like it's so low on his priority sheet because he's got like actual things to do instead of just like help me mess around with whatever.
Yeah, because I don't think because in a sense,
me a logo,
if we want to talk marketing or something like that, I mean, you're becoming a persona, a brand by the fact that you're on the Disc Golf Answerman show and you do commentary for the Disc Golf Pro Tour and you do commentary the last GBO 1 year or 2 years?
I've done it at GBO 2 years.
2 years, okay.
But yeah, just and then random live stuff with Smashbox here and there.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know that you need a logo to be a persona. You just
I don't
are
think
a persona,
I don't think you need one, but it'd be cool to have one.
Well, what are you gonna do? Carry around a stamp and put on people's discs?
What if I am?
Hey, can I get you a signature? Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Just gonna stamp it.
Do you have any ink with you?
Yeah.
Harold has his own signature stamp that
See?
Kev made. Kev's pretty cool about. He could whip something like that up.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's really cool about it, but I also feel like I work at this company also, so I'd be like, hey, take some of your company time,
right,
and make this for me, which will have no bearing on your job at all. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel weird about it.
I understand you.
Are
Maybe
you
later
implying
on.
we all did that?
You've got
No.
I'm just kidding.
You've got the Paige Pierces to worry about, the Drew Gibsons, and the Zachs, but put that on hold.
People who have logos and are good at playing and, bring the company money. Yeah, disregard that. Give me what I want.
Give me. All right, guys, that's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you so much. Thank you to Denise Cameron for
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, being on here as a special guest. It's been
fun.
great. We might have to do this a little more often when one of us are out of town. Of course, if I'm out of town, nobody knows how to
That's not
do
true.
this.
I'm on it.
You would know how to set all this up?
Of course.
All right, we'll see what happens.
Next week.
No.
Challenge.
No,
we'll be gone next week.
When are we coming back?
Do it.
We'll be back on Monday.
I can't do it.
You will?
We will be back
all
on
of
Monday.
us? Oh, okay. Yes. We come back on Monday?
So
Okay.
we'll have a regular show next week.
Okay. But when does Eric get back?
Eric won't, because Eric's
He
got to go
won't
to
be
that
back.
trade show.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
So we'll figure something. We'll have another special guest. I know some of the other people have mentioned being on here. So.
Sure. I think Derek would be really excited to be on here. He loves being on live video.
He loves talking.
Yeah, audio.
Yeah. No.
We'll see.
All right, guys. Until next week.
Bye.
Bye.